Everybody cries for the good guy but falls in love with the bad one. But we're not the bad guy. On the other side, it's always a different outcome. Contemplating motives where the folks are focused of attention through this blurry lens. Does it really matter the person that you are or is? It in no ways depends, yeah. Well, tell me, do you think that I'm special enough? That when we consummate and get down to the special stuff, I ain't worried about the stroke game, I may want, but perfection is good. So baby, let's practice. But when I put you to sleep, I'll be waiting days later on just so I can ask this. Am I the one you always seem to call on me? I'm the one for all the special needs that nobody can please. The only one that you're thinking about, or am I the top dog for your bone when you moan? Then when you finally wake, you're on your way out. Don't say no, baby, just say yes. Don't lie. Don't say no, baby, just say yes. No, 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 don't lie. Yeah.
Yeah. This is your mother's favorite rapper, Vincent Von Vegga, and this is More Than Local TV. Yiggity yeah!
What's going on, ladies and gentlemen? This is your boy Prophet with More Than Local TV, and I have the one and only Vincent Von Vegga. What's going on, man? How you doing?
I'm chilling. How about you?
I'm doing all right. I'm doing good. Well, I got a couple of questions for you. This is the first interview ever, so you have that ultimate honor, before we climb up in this industry, become the biggest thing ever. Vincent Von Vegga got the first one. So I got a couple questions. What drew you to the music industry, and who inspired you to do music?
Well, I've always did music, always had a liking or loving for music. I've been doing music since I was 7, I want to say.
Okay, 7? All right.
That just runs in the family, it runs in the blood, so the family inspired first and foremost, but then everything around me is what inspired.
Okay. Do you do anything like a production or any type of filming or video, stuff like that? Do you have like multiple?
I'm all around. I wear many hats. Walk many shoes. I produce majority of my music if it ain't in mixtapes. Whatnot. In the beginning, we was borrowing other people's beats and rapping on them and whatnot. But once I got to making my own, never mind. I'm behind the camera.
Okay.
A lot of a couple of my music videos, so I'm directing or I'm producing, and then I write and engineer my music. So it's all me. Shoot, I sing my background vocals. So.
So you're a man of many skills.
Maybe it had to be. Shoot.
Yeah. Trust me, I understand. Okay, so where are you from?
I'm born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I grew up in Flint, Michigan. I'm repping the Rock, Valley Drive. The whole Rock to me. North and the South. So really no boundaries to me.
Right. Okay. So tell me your thoughts on the current state of hip hop right now.
It's the best it has been in years. And I know people argue with me about that. At one point in time, it wasn't too much. It wasn't that. We feel like it wasn't that big of a selection, or you had to look so deep to find what you was looking for, which ain't bad, because that lets you know who's a true fan. Once you find something that you got and become attached to and push it up. But other than that, I could turn on the radio and hear my favorite artist. That was still on the underground on the radio. So I don't see nothing wrong with it. And all the music is a variety of choices, so it's great right now.
That's what's up. Yeah, the industry definitely has spread further and further, and hip hop has spread so much further around the world than it ever has been.
It's the new religion.
That's right. Hip hop is a religion. My next question, how do you separate yourself from other artists?
I try to. I try to. Then if I don't hit it on the head first, it might be another me out there the following year or the same year. So it's like, should I separate with myself? Other than that, I don't know. Shoot, just sound and singing. Like,
well, I've listened to your music and it sounds pretty dope to me. It sounds pretty unique. I've never heard anything like it.
Well, I try to stay original. Try to put out as much new heat as I can.
Okay.
Always evolving.
Speaking of that new heat, what's one of your most recent projects?
The most recent project I had dropped was the T.R.A.M.P tapes. It's 3 parts. Part 1 is out right now. T.R.A.M.P as being Trouble Radiates Around My People. So it's a 9-track mixtape. We got some visuals that's gonna drop in a few.
Okay.
It's some hard hitting music.
Okay, and I think I checked out your Bandcamp page, and you have a whole library of different CDs that are already done, right?
Yeah, I got 5 mixtapes on there and 1 album. It's actually supposed to be 7.
Okay.
7 albums on that. There's a couple that you would have to search deep for. They got the Special Kool-Aid by me and DJ Prophet was our first mixtapes.
Yeah.
And
that guy sounds familiar.
and then we got the first Return of the Mac, which is actually Return of the Mac Volume 2.
Right.
So that's the first one. So if you're looking for Return of the Mac Volume 1, you ain't gonna find it. But that's the first of the series and whatnot. And they actually asked me to do another one. So that might be the next project, or at least mixtape. Other than that, dropping a couple more of the parts, last parts, part 2 and part 3 of the T.R.A.M.P tapes, and then we'll be working on Trail of Tears album.
Okay. We'll be looking forward to it. We'll definitely be paying attention. So what are some of the artists who have, influenced your style, you would say?
I listen to a variety of music. More so, I don't want to sound cocky, but I got to a point where I had to just listen to myself, and that's how I developed my sound. So me,
right,
more than anything, developed my sound or influenced myself. People that's not even in music have influenced my sound. First of all, my mother.
Really?
She always played soul music, R&B, and whatnot, funk. I'm born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, so we got the Gap Band.
Right.
We done moved around. I used to live in Cali, so a lot of the funk, soul, and everything. Yeah, Leah's and Janet Jackson and everything that was like that, a little bit of pop. Michael Jackson, that was the main man to look up to growing up. So Michael Jackson is big. Nate Dogg, Prince especially. I love Curtis Mayfield, one of my favorite singers. Marvin Gaye is those, love me some Marvin. Kanye West on the rap scene. Kanye West and Outkast was the biggest thing popping me. I had to sneak to listen to rap. So that was some music that was allowed in the house. And then that was my first CD. I found Stank On Ya outside. Coming from school going home, it was on the ground. I found Stank On Ya, and then found out when it got me a CD player, and I was bumping that like crazy. So that was my first CD. So Outkast, my major influence. Other than that, Common, Pac, Biggie first though. Biggie, but Pac came later on, but he's always been around me. So just major influence.
Okay. I noticed when I was listening to your music before that you have a lot of layers within certain parts of your hooks and stuff that you're singing on. When did you first develop that, and when did you start perfecting that, and how did you perfect it?
I think I've always been able to do it, but messing around, smoking and whatnot kind of ruined my voice. So I can't be like, you certain people see the certain what it looked like the development stages or the beginning stages. I think I was doing full courses even on the first tape,
right,
harmonizing. So but I've been around a bunch of singers. I got aunts that was in the choirs and whatnot, and then like I said, I listened to. So just having a full full background vocals or anything that has to do with singing and whatnot. You know, we came up around singing. You know what I mean?
Right.
So we gotta throw some backgrounds in.
Okay, you growing up around singing, and you know you sing and rap and do all types of other things. What about your style separates you from other artists?
My style, I think, is because I actually sing.
Right.
There's not a lot of artists that actually just sing a full choral piece. You know what I mean? And it just be their vocals. And then most of the time, I haven't used auto-tune yet. You know what I mean? So, I mean, some people think I might use auto-tune when I do sing. Or Melodyne. I think it was probably had one song that was used with Melodyne.
Right.
And that wasn't even, you know, upon request or nothing. Which, I mean, is not to knock it. I mean, I go out my way to at least try and perfect my voice, so I wouldn't need to.
Practice makes perfect.
Rapping wise, I try to be the most versatile.
Right.
And, you know, come from the soul, kind of keep it gritty and whatnot so you can feel it. Even if I was, you know, having a love song or something that's like real cool and smooth and whatnot, I want you to feel that grit. So I might, mixing wise, I might leave it a little. I won't keep it too clean so you know it's actually real, because back then, you know, we drop an analog song and you can feel that.
Right.
You know, now you got the plugins for the analog, but you know, sometimes it still take away that grit. So
Right.
we try to keep it gritty with the sound on there, so you know you actually getting some from the soul music, or you gonna feel it when you hear it, not just the beats. You gonna get the lyrics as well. So it's always. I mean, that, you know, the new artists that's coming up kind of do that as well.
Right.
You feel me? So it's just, I guess everybody's been waiting for that or been wanting that. So, you know, it's kind of separate from today's music, but at the same time, everybody's on that same page where they actually making, you know, what we want to call real music.
Right. So part of what you said is, would you say that it's okay to have that super high quality hit song or music or whatever, but sometimes it's nice to have that truly heartfelt microphone in the bedroom type of vibe. Would you say that?
To a degree, depends on what song. It still need to be high quality at all.
Right.
You know, at all times. You know what I mean? But at the same time, we still want that realism. We want
Right.
that little bit of. I think the world. That's what the world love. They love realism.
True.
You know, it could be as perfect as it can, but you know, certain people, you know, it's just what they like. They like that type of. I could wake up every day to this, and it sound like I'm the one that's doing it. So you know what I mean, just, not just the sound wise, for the quality of the music, you know, as well as just as much as the content.
Right. So, and we could even apply that to like people who do video for a living. Like sometimes, you know, people will say, "Oh, you gotta have this super high quality cameras and stuff like this," but you have those videos that look so cloudy and everything else, and those videos go viral, getting millions of views, but people still love the content, you know, despite whatever camera they may have, because they accept it for what it is. Like, you don't have to, you know, have the greatest 4K, whatever whatever the new thing is. You just need to film something, get some content out there, let people see what you got. And you know, you want it to have some type of quality, but it doesn't have to be so perfect.
I don't know. Like I said, it depends on the song or the video. Now, if that's all you got,
Right.
then you're gonna deal with what all you got. But
Right.
You can get more. But now I would believe a person would do more.
Right.
And get it. So if that's all you got, that's all you got. But I mean, half of that is the style now. Is a lot of retro going on.
Right.
Exactly. So that puts, like I said, that puts a lot of realism to it. Like, you know, we just woke up, and this is what we're doing today. Like, you know, it's like it's real life. This is documentation. When instead of we set this up, it's scripted. You know, like most videos might have a treatment. So I think that realism, and then just like the content of the song, they like the song or the artist, period. So they're going to boost it. But you know, you still want the high quality. It should always be an option. and your option to do less than that should be an option, not just because
Right.
you don't have any options, so you have to do with the only thing you got. But you should have options.
Right. Okay. So besides, you know, the music and everything, we want people to get to know you. So, what's the average day like for you? What would you be doing if you decided to maybe go on vacation or not do any music on a particular day? Would you go to a nice downtown area, go to a couple restaurants? What a free day, unlimited money. What would you do that day?
Free day, unlimited money.
No music. No music.
No. I see your lady on the side. No.
Oh.
I mean, shoot. I do like take vacations and whatnot. Them days are pretty boring. So I mean, every day is a musical day. If I'm not with anybody and whatnot, I'm probably banging music. If I don't have no real plans, usually I do some out the way plans. Like I might just on a whim just go out of the state.
Right.
If I got it, or even if I don't got it. You know, if I got a little bit of it, if I got to make something, I got it, I'm out of the state.
Yeah, you'd be surprised on what you could travel on. You know, you don't really need too much to move around, and most of the times you don't spend what you budget out. You know.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, what I would want to be doing, what I would want to be doing on a free day, and even on the day of music, it was it'd be chilling with a girl, my girl. You know,
right.
I have one, you know what I mean.
Tell them what your sign is. I already know your birthday and everything.
I'm a Scorpio. You know, I'm romantic. I haven't been romantic lately and whatnot, but you know, I'm kind of getting back on my feet, so I'm kind of on some ground level stuff. But you know, any other time I'll be out, whatever you want to call it, I'll be spooned up.
This an interview and everything. Don't tell everybody all your business.
You know what I mean? They still gotta, you know, I gotta keep a little secret for the girl. You know, I would like to be bayed up, you know what I mean? Bayed up, or, you know, I'll probably be watching a good ass movie. A very good, just eating ramen. It'll probably be ramen noodles or something, some Chinese, some Asian. You know what I mean?
Maybe something about the great Stan Lee. Rest in peace to Stan Lee. You know, I'm not sure if you're really into like superheroes.
I was big in comic books. Matter of fact, before I came in, I haven't really been tuning it as much out. You know, should be. My brothers stay in tune with it. Some do comics, but other than that,
who's your favorite? Got any favorite?
I used to claim Superman. I used to claim Superman. My favorite superhero, though, out of all of them, is not a superhero. It's the Joker. So
okay,
that's my favorite. That's my favorite superhero, other than Samurai Jack. So
right. Hey, Samurai Jack, man. I think they just had like a new thing come back.
Yeah, I was
on the Cartoon Network or something.
I was waiting for it. I've been calling for season 2.
Okay.
I was gone when it came.
Okay. Get back to the music and everything. You know, do you have any advice for like newer artists or artists who haven't performed, artists that are still dealing with performance anxiety? You know, they just have a hard time, butterflies in the stomach, whatever you want to call it. Have you ever dealt with performance anxiety?
A little bit. But it's not even the performance wise. It'd be more so on how the crowd, and I guess you could say performance wise. But when I get up on stage, most of the shows I do, in no other words, is in front of a black crowd.
Right.
Which, you know, my music is, I want to say, is kind of a wide variety. You know, pop, a little bit of, I want to say dark metal, but trip and grunge hop or emo, trap hop and whatnot. But then I do like soul, might even do a country song. I don't even really bump a lot of country. But when I get up on stage and I go to certain crowds, if it's a black crowd or whatnot, because of my skin color in certain contexts of what I say and whatnot,
right.
I have to make sure that they know I am who I am, you know what I mean? Before they just When I get on stage, I'll perform good and the songs be great, and I'm knowing they're great, and I know that they like the song. But a lot might in the beginning stages was looking at me trying to figure out what is he, who is he, you know what I mean? So,
I understand that.
Yeah, that was
these days, it's a lot of sensitivities going on, but as far as that sensitivity, I believe it's very well placed because there's a lot of things that need to stop. A lot of hateful things that need to stop, negative things that need to stop. So, people being more sensitive, it was bound to come. As far as I'm concerned,
I think people's always been sensitive, but at the same time, I think people instigate sensitivity or have instigated problems.
Right.
So there's been I feel like there are certain issues that are coming up.
Mm-hmm.
With certain issues, they have been instigated or reopened.
Right.
On both sides. If we're talking about, political or even racial.
Right.
I mean, like, I'm all for Black Lives Matter. I'm all for people, you know what I mean? But a lot of, if there's no problem in certain areas, do not create a problem.
Right.
You know what I mean? That creates tension where that could be that certain area could be the one that eases all tension on other sides, but people rather bring tension to a certain area and creating problems in certain places that don't even never seen.
So
problems.
would you say like in a city or a town where you have maybe, I would say, let's do percentages since we don't want to name any specific number. You would say maybe 20% of the town is racist, through different events through the town or whatever that you've come across yourself. You may have 20% of the people who have a certain type of attitude towards people of color, and you may have 30% of the cops who have a certain feeling towards people of color. Would you say that's not a place to be marching? That's a place to start dealing with people on an individual basis.
You said marching?
Yeah, marching as if it's a whole town. Like you upscale the situation to where it seems as if the inner workings of everything in this town, job-wise, bank-wise, all of this stuff, the inner workings of this particular town or city is ran by people who hate people of color. Do you treat a lower scale situation like that, or do you kind of handle it on an individual basis to where you got blacks, whites, Latinos, all of these different types of people, they face that other 20 and 30%, and it doesn't have to be some riot thing where police have to come out and do crazy things, stuff like that. What would you say that a racial situation on a lower scale shouldn't be amped up? Is that what you're saying?
I mean, it should be dealt with accordingly, however it's dealt with. I mean, don't suppress racism. Stop. I've seen racism, the definition of racism, but as a child, I'm still not gonna believe in racism.
Right.
You putting belief in it, so it's created. You know what I mean? You've made what you want to descriptions. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean, or details based on a person's skin color or whatever their ethnicity is or culture is. Their culture is gonna have its own details and whatnot, but to have a prejudice and build a boundary against it and whatnot just for how it is.
Right.
I mean, them certain situations.
We got to focus on building a bridge between cultures.
I mean, these cultures have their own way of life.
Right.
So I mean, I understand. You want to connect to them, but if you're not with it, you're not with it. So that builds a boundary in itself. But as far as people having their being born as they are and then having to deal with somebody that just don't like them just because a skin color, you know what I mean? If that's what we're going by, the definition of racism, we're going by their outward appearance, how they look, skin color, just hues, the hues of their skin. I'm not with that. Should we make it a major deal? If it's a major problem, if it's like one person, if 20 people of the same race go into one spot and only one gets picked out for that, for a issue of skin, maybe not, but 20 just walked in, you know what I mean? And you know what I mean? Now, if it's a personal thing, it's a personal thing, but if it's a generalized thing, it's a generalized thing. If I go to a building and every person like me that walk in, there's a problem with, there's a problem, then I could see that becoming an upscale thing. But at the same time, that's still a personal level that can be dropped down to it. Handle that, in a personal matters. But if it's like widespread, then it's gonna be big. It's gonna be something big because it's widespread. It's a widespread issue.
So would you say that any particular person, they don't have to necessarily like a different race, but they would need to accept that these people are around, these people are here?
I don't think a person. Well, if everybody, we're on this do what thou wilt, or you have free will.
Right.
But I don't see no reason to hate a person or dislike a person just because of their skin color. And that doesn't make sense. Like, you didn't wake up. I don't think you woke up one day from birth. You came out the womb and it's like, I just hate white people. I just hate black people. And there's we can get into science and people want to say it's in the genes now. It's hereditary to hate.
It's definitely taught.
Now I'm not gonna say that we want to get on a spiritual level or a conscious level or even a level of DNA and whatnot. There might be certain traits and certain things that's passed down on a spiritual level. A child comes knowing who they are. You know what I mean? So if they don't like a certain thing, as they develop, or they won't touch it, or if they touch it, they're like, I don't mess with that. That it's not even a learned thing; it's a choice now. So it's something in them that's made. Whether that altercation, whatever that situation right then and there, if I feed a baby some peas and it doesn't like some peas after tasting, then it doesn't like the peas. But I try to feed the peas to them, the baby do not want it because the way it is or whatever, it might be something right then and there, or it might be something in a quote unquote past life or whatever the case is. So I'm not going to take that out the picture. But at the same time, I don't think somebody just wake up and be like, I hate, from birth,
right,
and be like, I hate this thing, I hate this thing. Because with the racial issues, it be on both sides. You got this, like I'll tell some of the black brothers and whatnot, some might just be talking to a whole bunch of white people, which I don't have no problem. I have a problem with, but I understand it, because of it's a generational thing. It is, you still got history, you still got problems still in certain areas that people are still making up or trying to make out of, you know what I mean?
Right.
People who so-called own slaves, when they trying to make up for it, trying to better a situation for those that's here now, you know what I mean? And those who are children of those that went through, through slavery and whatnot are trying to make it out. But there's some white people, there's white people that have never been racist. There's black people that have never been racist and grew up around white people and black people and whatnot. Right. So when you get in a situation where they don't love black people, white people ain't never gonna love black people. Black people ain't never gonna love white people. That's crazy. Because you instigating racism to people that never.
At that point, you go too far. Like it's like I know that everybody has their matter of perspective, but it's almost like it's okay to have pride within your race and everything, but you're not supposed to use that pride to suppress anyone else or make it okay for you to hate an entire race.
It's history. Know the history. That's it. That's all you need to do. I'm not finna walk up to a white person like, hey, because we're of the same skin tone, we should just hate black people. Cause me and you gotta stick together.
Right.
And all that, man, shoot, it's something that might be a personal level. It might be somebody, the person I like, you don't like because of a certain reason. And it might be a racial thing, but it might be something that happened, but you might think it's racial. It might just, it could be a context of a character.
Right.
You know what I mean? So if that's the case, I mean, all the racism will only have started because of context of character. So it's still a context of character, but it would be generalized because they feel like it's a repetition with a certain person, a certain being, a certain image.
Right.
You know what I mean? I mean that's just what it is. I'm not, like I was saying, you know, you shouldn't teach it. You should know the history on all that, the slavery and all that, because there's been slavery going on all sides, and we always have this context argument, but we treated you better on this side,
right,
and all this stuff. But war is war, and conquering is conquering.
right.
You know, I don't like the treatment of certain things, but at the same time, when you go to a Black Lives Matter rally one night, it ain't only black people there.
Right.
So it ain't only black people supporting black people, it's white people, it's Mexican people that believe in Black Lives Matter.
Right. So would you say that, you know, there has been, okay, let's say, okay, I've heard that, okay, back in Africa before, you know, the boats came and we were brought over here forcefully and that type of thing. A lot of people say that they had slavery over in Africa, but it was more like a indentured servant or something like that. I'm not sure if I'm saying that word right, but it was more like a servitude thing, and when you were done with paying back whatever you needed to pay back or whatever, they would let you go, and that type of thing. Would you say that maybe that the things that we even experience today may very well be a divine punishment for what we were doing to ourselves?
I mean, to a degree, I wouldn't call it divine,
slightly,
but it's
maybe slightly some of it.
I'm spiritually conscious. We get to talking about the Israelites, and we being the people of Israel, the Hebrews, you know, the Native Americans and whatnot. They, you know, people believe the Native Americans are the Hebrews, and any of those lineage, or black people, you know, are the lineage of you know, the original people, the Hebrews, the Israelites. So I mean, I can understand that. I can understand that from a certain degree.
Right.
Yeah, to a point, to a degree. But then, you know, if I compare it to having a child, and you put your child in a certain, your child knows to do better, has, you know, is talented,
Right.
can do all these things. Would he rather go put himself in harm's way?
Right.
You know, puts himself in jail or whatever and whatnot, and then, you know, stays living in a thought or ways to where he will constantly create problems for himself, then, you know, that certain type of things happen. Now that might be taken out of context with the situation, but I don't know. It's a lot of people that say, you know, everybody want to claim who started first and who started first.
Right.
You know, I mean, you know, there's certain people that say, you know, black people were already here in America before slavery.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it just depends. You know, in war, and they had war back then before our history shows that we came over here, or black people were brought over here. Spoils of war, spoils of war. You know what I mean? Moors went over there to, you know, to Europe and whatnot and conquered it. They taught the people. They, you know, they bred with the people. If they conquered it, I was, you know, expect or say that certain people died, certain people were jailed. They took them under their wing and taught them and whatnot. But any nation that, you know, that comes above and whatnot is gonna conquer something and set new laws.
Right. So
I mean, I don't know. It is a kind of a falling from grace and whatnot, because, you know, going through the history and whatnot, it was not a lot of black people in positions. You know, at least not what we knew for these in our history and whatnot. At least not openly.
Right.
You know, somebody was always claiming something. So, but it's a recognition factor on that. But it's somewhat of a divine thing. But at the same time, I feel like you know, you teach so much. You teach.
It has to stop. You know, there's got to be some healing at some point.
It should always be something. But then, you know, if you look at all these wars and everything that goes on, you could look at it as it's a cleansing. It's just an ongoing cleansing.
Right.
Ain't nobody got clean yet.
Yeah. Okay. Well, what advice would you have for someone following in your footsteps, or who wanted to follow in your footsteps, saw what you were doing, you know, and, you know, almost as if you were doing maybe an artist development thing with somebody who just wanted to start doing something like what you do? What advice would you have for a person like that?
Are we specifically talking about music or just living all the way around?
A little bit of both.
Well, I mean, always be thoughtful. You always got to think. I've lived 26 years thinking.
Right.
I've been thinking since a child. When I looked at the world, I seen it a certain way and I thought about it. So a lot of things, a lot of the trouble that I got into, a lot of trouble, if I want to call them troubles and whatnot, because even though they was a little bumps and whatnot, they still what I wanted to do and I knew what was going to happen was for a certain degree. So these are things that I wanted to do to a certain degree. I mean, just always think before, think about at least 18 paths of how everything could go, good and bad. Because even the bad ain't even, if you think about it, ain't even bad. It's just you exploring your options and you got to be prepared for them. Right. So whatever direction it goes and whatnot, you'll always be prepared. Even when you're unprepared, you know, you already thought about getting into the situation. So before the situation and while you're in the situation, you're still developing and thinking of ways to get out of a situation. You know what I mean? Or to make the best or the better of it. So always think, know yourself. I mean, so know your weaknesses, even if they're not weaknesses and you think they are weaknesses. You know what I mean? Even your weaknesses are your strengths. So you're always strong. You just got to know when to play them.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's all about whatever skill, putting it in the right place, you know, using that right tool, you know, whenever you need to. So that just goes back to thinking. But know yourself and be yourself.
Right.
Don't be afraid to say what you need if you need something, or make your wants clear and whatnot. So it becomes a better understanding to anybody around you, so there will be no altercations, and at the same time let it be known that you yourself, so it won't be no altercation. And if there's any altercations, it's because somebody didn't like you, especially if you're not going against the grain with somebody else. Because if you let somebody know how you is from the get-go, or, you know, without impeding or trying to get over a person, whatnot, they can't do nothing but respect it and learn from it. If they know who you are, but they go out their way to block and whatnot, then you can take that personally.
Right.
I mean, so yeah, think, know yourself, and shoot, be yourself at all times, and just do that. Don't be scared to do anything, but don't just do anything and everything just because you can.
Don't do everything. You might find yourself in some trouble. Okay. I can't help but notice the tattoo that you have on your neck. Is that a bird, or what does that represent? Is it?
This is Raven Rated Gang. The symbol is actually, you can find it anywhere, but the remix of it, if you want to call it, is a RRG. It's a Raven Rated Gang. The people have been there since day one. There's been new people that's come, new people that's left. It went by many names. The first was Joker Famille, then it turned into Team Isolation. Team Isolation turned into it was Joker Famille, then Vega Boys, then Team Isolation. Mm-hmm. And right around Team Isolation, it became RRG, and it stayed as RRG, and that was 2012 until now.
I think it's also important. I kind of knew some of that history through, you know, searching through your pages, listening to your music and everything.
Well, I mean, you've also been around for a long time.
Yeah, that's true. Team Isolation, I ain't gonna curse.
Team Iso forever, we constantly killing, but for pleasure with no pressure.
But I think it's important for people to know that you have always led that front when doing those things. You know, even though it's a team effort and everything, I think anybody would be happy to say that you were the lead in those situations. What about you, you know, struggles and whatnot? What made you a good leader in order to start multiples and multiples of organizations, you know, within your own rights?
I've been like this since a child. Like my mom would tell you, I came out the womb talking.
Yeah.
I mean, you know, they ain't no certain special things like babies come out talking.
Were you like that grown kid that's like 9 years old, but you 35?
I was that one. I'm like she talking about 6 months out, I'm asking for water. And when you know, I'm doing this, I'm doing stuff by myself. Right. So like I've always been independent to a degree. But I mean, also just being around Miles, she had to, you know, work and do that. And then she had to have, if she needed some help or whatnot, you know, I had to be that help. So, you know, I've always been taught to, you know, I have to do for myself or get it done, even when I couldn't get it done. Plus, I'm the big brother of my family, so I had to be uno in some cases. You know, if moms ain't there, I gotta be moms and big brother. Right. So I had to be a leader, whether if I want to or not. Firstborn, is like I said, so that's just in me to do that. Plus, I'm just, you know, I just happen to walk around and be around certain people, and we just happen to connect. And then, you know, I'm like, all right, we with each other, and we do like these certain things. I got names. Let's put some names on it. We do this and whatnot. Let's do this. Let's make it a business, or let's be something. Let's be an entity or not something. You know, we already got our names individually. Let's have a group name or something like that. So I come up with these names. If it came with if we had an image and whatnot, which we already had an image with it, you know, a certain direction, I let it be known. Hey, we could do this, get doing that, or if it's a sound, I've been doing this, and if they liked it, I'd be like, well, shoot, y'all like it, and I know y'all got certain stuff. I want to get this to y'all or whatnot. So, you know, it's just always been like that. And then I don't know, I wouldn't say I'm the leader, because a lot of the times I just want to sit back and watch whoever's that's with me progress and, you know, shine and whatnot, because I like being a fan more so than just being the person on stage. But if I might not have somebody on stage, or if I feel like I gotta boost the name or something like that, I'm gonna put myself up front. Right. You know, so that's just so, you know, the next man can have it easier. Or, you know, or just like, you know, if y'all like me, if I know y'all like me, and I like this person, I know y'all gonna like this person because I like this person and y'all like me. So, you know what I mean? Right. So I'm finna throw them out there in the front and whatnot. Okay. You know, I just try to open doors.
Okay, well, here, you know, at More Than Local TV, we like to bring the cameras out and interview people where they are, you know, in their own environment, stuff like that. We see all the tech behind you, speakers and all this other type of stuff. Tell people, you know, where you are right now.
We are in Grim Music Studios on the east side of Little Rock. This is 1211 East 15th Street, Grim Music. If you want to get your music recorded, book a session.
You're also affiliated with Grim, right?
I am an artist under Grim. I have my own, but
it's all good.
I am I had Double RG before I came to Grim, but you know, I guess they liked my music and see my hustle and invited me to the family. So I have been here. I've been with Grim since 2014, but I've been around Grim at least since 2012.
Okay, and who actually runs like Grim Studios? Like, who is the head of that?
Well, Big Dave, you'll barely see him when not. He is the head of the label. He's the CEO, if you want to call it. YK though, you'll see him more so, and he is the brain, if you want to say that. He's the one that's behind the boards. He's the executive producer, engineer of Grim Music Studios.
Okay, how did you meet YK? How did you meet him?
I want to say I met him at a show, or I met him through JT or SJ, but we kind of in the same circle. But it went through SJ performing at RTLD, one of the events, the independent music nights, and you know, I just hung around, and I got to meet YK in Big Dave, I want to say we met at a show, and they like my music, they like my style, and anytime when I feel like moving around or dropping out or whatnot, YK's been one of them people that's, hey, keep on going. So, I mean, once we met, we locked in, but I want to say it was at a show.
Okay, that independent music night, I know that it's held in one particular place, right?
As of now, it's been in many. It was at Downtown Music Hall. Then it went to Juanita's.
Okay.
Now it's at the Red Room. It's been there for a long time.
Okay, so you all have a show coming up here soon, right?
Yeah.
At the Red Room.
Yeah.
In Little Rock, Arkansas, like downtown, right?
Yeah. SJ's throwing an independent music night on the 21st. This will be a Wednesday. It's 10 for the door, 10 to get in. It's 10 for a ticket. This is see the poster. So, come in. We got, I want to say, DJ Don D on the boards. He's cold with the mixing. Been around for a while.
And all of these artists, all of the artists that are listed on there, and they have tickets available that they sell themselves, right?
Yes.
Okay. Well, that's dope, man. I'm looking forward to actually coming to the next show. I will definitely be there. Is there like any hidden meaning, like within like your whole catalog of music? Would you say there's any hidden meaning, or are you the type to like put it all out there?
Both. Because I'll put it out there and certain people still might not understand. And then, if they don't understand, I don't like explaining too much, but when we're, if I'm teaching and whatnot, I would love to explain.
Okay.
I mean, I love teaching, so there's always some hidden meaning. There's a lot of stuff that you won't catch.
Right.
In certain songs, there's certain things that's just straightforward. Like it's getting right. There's nothing you can misconstrue. I mean, I like to be straightforward.
Right.
Like if I make a song and I'm just feeling a certain type of way, I'm feeling a certain type of way. And if it's something the person just don't understand, then they can ask and I'll tell them. But then, I do like to leave, like, it's a Da Vinci Code when I might make something. Right. It's gonna keep a trail of breadcrumbs till you find the Wonder Bread package you was looking for.
Oh yeah, gotta get to the bread, I guess.
True.
Okay, so what are some of your social media pages, or what's like your main one that people can follow you at? And can you like kind of like spell it out for them so people know how to find you?
Well, I'm on Facebook. I'm old school.
Yeah.
I'd rather you call or text me. I put my number out there as many times. It's in the songs. It's on Facebook. I'd rather a person call or text me.
Yeah.
I've been on the social media for a long time, but it's all gonna come to my phone. So I guess you could say I'm on Facebook more. I'm just now jumping on Instagram. My Instagram has been booming a little bit.
And they can find you at your actual name.
Well, my real name, and I might be going by this name, depending on how I'm feeling. I might just go by my real name, Sequoia Kimball, Sequoya Kimble, or just Sequoia by itself. But if you type that in, you should be able to pop up. Or type that in on Facebook. On Facebook, you will find me, Sequoia Kimball. If you want to go to one of the pages, Choppopera, Choppopera Inc. Team Isolation or TIME.
Can they find you on Instagram?
On Instagram, it's Sequoia Vegga. Sequoia Vegga 9. That's SEQUOYA V3GGA 9. Sequoia Vegga 9. That's
one more time for the people in the back. What's your most recent project, and tell people where to find it?
You can find my recent project, the T.R.A.M.P tapes. Part 1 is on sequoiavega.bandcamp.com. That's the T.R.A.M.P tapes. It's gonna be the first tape playing. It's gonna be the first tape you see. The little red trippy figure up there. Sequoia Vega at sequoiavega.bandcamp.com. That's SEQUOYAV3GGA.bandcamp.com.
And all the links will be in the description so that you can follow Vega and so that you can get his CDs, listen to them, purchase them, book him, all of those different types of things. All of that stuff will be in the description down below, so make sure you all check that out. And also push that notification bell. We will have more interviews to come. And Vega, man, I appreciate you.
Yeah.
More than local TV first interview. You got it.
Yeah.
All right.